Hello everyone and welcome to the show today. I'm so happy to have Tom Berger here and today we're going to talk about the Slowpoke Western Art Show that's coming very soon, right Tom?
It's coming on the 25th, 26th, and 27th of September.
Okay, so for those of them out there that haven't heard of this Western Art Show, why don't you fill them in on what they can expect? And is this a show that they can actually attend?
This is a live show, and we think it'll probably be the first live art show in California since the shutdown in March due to COVID. The Slowpoke has been around for 10 years. This is our 10th anniversary. This is the 5th year that we've been out of the gallery, and we are at Flag Is Up Farm in Solvang. That is the thoroughbred horse farm of Bonnie Roberts, the horse whisperer that Robert Redford played in the movie of that name.
Nice.
And Pat Roberts is one of their, oh, it's a gorgeous place.
Farm.
This is 100 acres of pastures and barns and beautiful horses and breeze rolling through, so absolute safe place to hold a live art show. You know, social distancing will be very, very, you know, kind of natural.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So not only that, but you know, we'll have hand sanitizer and we have 25,000 square feet of wide open riding arena, open on 3 sides,
Nice.
roofed,
Nice.
that we can spread the show out. So even when you're looking at the art, you're going to be socially distanced.
So everybody could feel safe there.
Yeah, but the advantage of this over a virtual art show is you can actually see the art, you can see the energy in it, and you can actually feel the communication when that happens with the art. And you can't do that on a TV or a virtual
Or
show.
online.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and the artists are there to talk to. You know,
Right.
they'll be socially distanced from you,
Right.
but you know, over 6 feet or more,
And
you can ask
everybody will
questions.
have
I know,
masks
yeah,
on,
that's right.
right?
Yeah, so everybody's going to have a cowboy bandana, just like our logo, which we'll show you in a minute. And that way they can kind of just wear it as a face mask and not have to worry about those silly paper things.
So once you purchase a ticket, that's included. So
This is free to everybody who comes to the show.
nice.
And everybody who comes to the show also gets a high quality art book. This isn't just the usual newsprint catalog. This is a book that shows the art and something about each of the artists that are in the show. So, you know, you get a lot of value for your money. And if you buy a piece of art for $250 or more, which is pretty low end, we'll refund the cost of one of your $25 tickets. So the admission for the art buyer is essentially free.
Right.
By the way, I look better like this, don't I? Huh?
I think you like
just so long as I don't go in a bank.
That's a cool mask, though, really. So just touch on, we're going to meet a few of the artists here coming up, but touch on the type of art that people can expect, because I know sculptures are a really hot commodity, right?
So we have both paintings and sculpture and photography in this show. We have a very unique event this year for any art show. We have 3 high-end sculptors in the show, and all 3 of them will be unveiling their brand new bronze sculptures for the first time at the Slowpoke.
Brand new.
So,
okay, so
you know, this is
unveiling.
Pat Roberts and this is Dino Mahaffey and Errol Gordon are the 3, and they've all got 3 very different sculptures, very affordable, and each of them very, very interesting in what they've done. So that's where it comes to the show, right there.
Nice. And so you mentioned that this is going to be held there in Solvang, as it has the past how many years? Then prior to that, where did
Well, so we started the Slowpoke 10 years ago here in Pismo Beach at Seaside Gallery, which at the time I owned. And after about 5 years, we outgrew that. And so we moved it as a separate business, and we moved it over to the Pismo Beach Veterans Center, where we had about 2,500 square feet. And we staged it there for 2 years. And then we got an invitation from Pat and Monty Roberts to move the show to their ranch.
Perfect location.
So that we would have a chance to take the place of the Pepper Tree Art Show, which had gone out of business about 10 or 11 years before that. So we are now out on, I mean, it's an absolutely gorgeous ranch. You go to see Western themed art with Western horses. You can hear them, they're snorting around, you smell them. So it just adds to the atmosphere for this kind of a show.
Perfect.
And by the way, Western art means a lot more than cowboys and Indians. So, you know, a painting of San Francisco Bay is Western art. A painting of Narragansett Bay in Rhode Island is not Western art. And you say, well, what's the difference? Well, the colors are different, the architecture's different, the landscape's different, and there's really nothing about the East Coast that relates to the discovery and the attitudes that we find here on the West Coast. So Western art to us is very broad. It's wildlife, it's landscapes, it's contemporary art, it's abstract art. We have some abstract art in the show this year. Seascapes, landscapes,
So if
portraits.
you want to learn about art,
So,
you can attend and just
Yeah, this is a great place. So we limit it to about 25 artists. We have 24 this year. This allows a visitor to come in, talk to each of the artists if they want to, get to know them, get to know their art, and at a relaxed pace, make a choice, and hopefully buy some art. And they don't have to worry about looking at 200 more
right.
artists that you do
So
in a big city
overwhelming.
show.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
We call that the Walmart effect, because you get totally lost. But what did I come in here to buy? Oh yeah. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know I've been before, and I'm excited to attend again this year. And we encourage you all to be in support of Western art. I mean, this is something that we don't have to look at as just something our great grandparents or grandparents were into. You know, go out and learn about art. And if it's not Western art, just learn about fine art in general, because I know I've certainly learned a lot from you over the years.
and this art is not just local artists. We have artists coming in from Colorado Springs, New Mexico, Arizona,
All over.
throughout the state of California. So, you know, just like the former show we're trying to replace, these artists come from all over the Southwest to participate in this show. So it's a unique event. And guess what? You don't have to fight LA traffic to go to a
Nope.
big city show and see it. So
Nope. It's in a
come out to the
beautiful
Slowpoke.
location, Central Coast. So, okay, thanks for joining me today. And then we're going to be speaking with the artist here shortly. So we'll be right back. All right, so I'm happy to be back here, of course, with Tom Berger. And this time we have Pat Roberts, and we're excited to talk to you today, Pat. Tell me a little bit more about the sculpture art that you have done, and for how long, and how it integrates with the Monty Roberts Ranch.
Well, this is a horse farm. It's been in existence for 54 years. And so naturally, my favorite subject are horses. And in 1971, I decided that I wanted to sculpt, and I took an adult education class at Santa Barbara City College.
Wow.
And I finished sculpture. It was just called Nude. And I went from there. And over the years, I've done, I don't know how many now, but most of them are animals. I seem to like to do animals more than I do people. And I think I'm better at animals, but you know, how could I not be good at animals, living here amongst them and raising them, showing them, and loving the life that I live.
And that's the passion behind what you're doing with your sculptures. And you have one there that's kind of right there on display. And how long ago was that one done?
That one was done about 10 years ago, and that is a Mawari horse, which is the native horse of India. And I did that for Satish Simar, who works for the Sheikh Mohammed from Dubai. And he was from India, raised these horses, and for years he wanted me to sculpt a Mawari horse. So I did. Yes, and I call it the Spirit of India.
And so what's some of the sculptured art that you'll have there on showcase at the Western Art Show on the 25th of this month?
I'm going to premiere, I guess you call it premiere, or everyone's going to get to, pardon?
Unveil.
Unveil.
Yes, it's a secret right now.
Right, unveil two new pieces. One is a full-size study of a horse head, a beautiful quarter horse, and the other one is a small little donkey by the name of Martha. And Martha is a favorite of a lot of people here in the San Ynez Valley. She belonged to Debbie and Dan Gerber. She was a rescue donkey brought from Texas to California. And it was a fun project. I really enjoyed doing it.
So how long does it take? I mean, I'm sure depending on the project, but what is a standard time? Like, how long was the donkey in development, and how long did that take?
It was a very fast one. I think I completed that project in less than 3 months, which is, for me, that's really fast.
Wow.
The horse that took a little longer.
when you're working on these projects, is this something that you're doing, 8 hours in a day, or is it just kind of like, when you have time throughout the day, or is it?
I fit it in when I have time.
You? Okay.
I have horses that I show. In fact, I'm leaving tonight to go to Reno for a competition. And so I fit it in between other things. We have a farm here that takes a lot of supervision and care, and so I spend a lot of time doing that. But I try to get to my heart each day a little bit.
And the farm that Pat's talking about, as you can see, I mean, it's no small farm. This is it behind me. And it's gorgeous and amazing.
It's a beautiful, beautiful spot, and it's going to be wonderful to have all these people here a week after. It's about, what now, 10 days out?
Yeah,
Tom,
very close.
Get pretty close. Anyway, I'm looking forward to having a lot of visitors and people to come see the art and see the horses, and it's a beautiful place.
And so what is it?
Let me add to that. As you look at the picture there, this is a wide open farm in the open air. It sits here amongst the San Ynez Mountains. There's generally a breeze blowing through. We're holding a live art event that is essentially outside. We're still going to have social distancing. We're still going to have hand sanitizer. And for people who want to wear a mask, they're actually going to get a free Cowboy Paisley slowpoke, bandana to wear as a mask. This has got to be one of the very first live events. It's absolutely safe for people to come out and see the art firsthand.
And what does it mean, I guess, to the two of you to still have a Western art show and to be able to put, all of this beautiful art on display and, in the San Ynez Valley? I mean, I would expect that that's, something that those of you that collect art out there and have appreciation for this kind of art, it's a great place to be able to do it.
Well, this valley has been known for its art. In fact, it was known for its art before it was known for its grapes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good to know. Grapes have taken over everything, right?
Yes, they have. But we had a wonderful a premier art show here for many, many years called the Pepper Tree Art Show. And Bob and Irma Eubanks were the ones that were the movers and shakers with that. And when Irma passed and Bob moved down south, the show went away. And what we're trying to do is revive the tradition of Western and all kinds of art here in the Valley. And so that was our pet project. And a few of us artists got together one time about 4 years ago and said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could put something together? And then along came Tom, and there we are. We're making history.
And then it's a great partnership. And again, it couldn't be a better place to showcase the Western Art Show. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous and it's beautiful.
It's wide open, and we're going to really spread everything out this year and take every precaution because we want everyone to be safe. But it is a very healthy atmosphere here on the farm.
And in closing, you want to mention a little bit about the farm there and what you guys offer there, just so that people have a knowledge maybe that don't know about it?
Well, if you look in the background there, you can see vaguely our racetrack. We train thoroughbred racehorses, and we raised trained some very, very wonderful horses over the years. And we also board horses. We've got green pastures, and we're green year round because we have an abundance of water. And we offer a lot. It is a full service horse operation.
Nice. And you're doing a great job. And it's been up and running for how long now?
54 years.
54 years. And look at you, you're still going strong. I mean, thank you for making time for us today, because I know you're going to be leaving, and, good for you.
I'm looking forward to my competition too.
Yeah. Good luck up in Reno.
Thank you. I like to go and beat the kids.
I love it. I love it. You'll have to report back and let us know how that goes.
I'll let you know. Good or bad.
Okay. Well, again, we hope that everybody joins us at the Slowpoke Western Art Show. Anything you wanted to add in closing, Tom?
No, I think we're going to have, besides Pat, we have two other sculptors who will be unveiling sculpture at the show. So very unique. I mean, having 3 sculptures unveil, brand new sculptures at the same show at the same time. I mean, that's pretty
exciting
neat.
stuff. Exciting stuff.
That's a reason to come out and see them anyway. So.
And how many
That's
other
right.
vendors altogether? How many vendors altogether? How many
Well, we
artists?
get about 23 artists this year.
Okay, perfect. So a good showing. All right,
Good cross section of all kinds of art.
absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, again, Pat, appreciate your time today very much. And we will see you very soon.
I'm looking
Thank you,
forward
Tom.
to it.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good show. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, all right, here I am, Carl Sonny Leyland with Rhonda Cardinal, and we're going to talk about the Jazz Jubilee. And let me start. When was the event established, and who was involved with that?
So the Jazz Jubilee is put on by a jazz society called the Basin Street Regulars. And the Basin Street Regulars started in 1976. And the first Jazz Jubilee, it was called Jubilee by the Sea. We've changed the name a little bit, but it was known as Jubilee by the Sea for many years. And the first festival was actually 1977. So almost as soon as this club formed, they immediately jumped into running a festival, which to me is unbelievable. but that's what happened. So this will be 2020 is our 44th
Wow.
year of continuous festivals.
And I know you are intimately involved with the organizing and planning of the festivals. Can you tell us something about that?
I'm the festival director, which means I have the responsibility of making that festival happen. This is my 5th year, maybe my 6th year. 2015 was my first year. So I took this over from George Smith in 2015. Back in previous years when George was running it, he would kind of ask me, or maybe at one time I said something like, wow, it must be really cool to run this festival, or, what a challenge that must be. Or I said something, and then he said, well, would you like to do it? I said, well, no, because I'm working. I could never do it while I'm working. But, maybe when I retire, I will think about it. And so then, like 3 months after I retired, he gave me the festival. So I've been doing it since pretty much January of 2015 is when he gave me the reins.
Gotcha. But you had been attending the festival as a listener since back in the 90s, yeah?
Well, my husband's parents were big fans of all the jazz festivals that were happening in the 80s, and they attended several of them, but Pismo was local to them. They lived in Huntington Beach, and so we would travel. We would go to events with them in Huntington Beach where they lived, and then we traveled to Pismo because we were living in Long Beach at the time. We traveled to Pismo with them a few times and camped at Pismo Coast Village and became familiar with the area. So we attended in the 80s. We attended when our daughter was a baby. We attended when our daughter was pretty young. And then we found this to be a very nice area because of coming to the festival. And so then a job opportunity opened up. And so then we moved up here in 1991 and, 1999. And we've been we started attending regularly. We got involved with the club, which we hadn't been before. And I was actually president of the Basin Street Regulars prior to my retirement for about 5 years. So we became very involved with the club once we moved to the area.
Okay. All right. Well, have you seen like an evolution with the festival since you've been involved? Is there anything you could comment on there?
I think are they smaller? I don't know. I think, well, one problem we've had, there has been a lot of attrition. So the festivals that are doing well are still doing well and they're still popular, but it's not so much that the festivals have changed as the number of festivals have changed. So we've lost some of our audience, and therefore some of these festivals haven't been sustainable, and so we have fewer than we did, and as a result the festivals that are left are very well attended. And so you see a shrinking of the pool, but then the remaining festivals get a lot of attendance and can hire a lot of bands and be very strong.
Right. I mean, I think that's key, adapting to the situation and not trying to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
So how about COVID? And obviously we're not having a conventional festival this year, but we're having one.
Yeah, so because of the way that we do Pismo, you know, we're not a festival in one venue, which is a blessing and a curse. And we don't have to put a bunch of money up front for a particular facility. We have usually 4 or 5 venues, and we put a deposit on them, and then we pay for them at the end. So it did take us, we held out for a long time before we had to go virtual. And we waited to see what the situation would be. And there was, for a long time, a possibility that we would be able to do it like we normally do, maybe with fewer attendees. But after a while, it became obvious that we were not going to be able to get our venues. In particular, some of our venues belong to the different cities. We have a county facility, 2 Pismo Beach facilities, and an Arroyo Grande facility, and the cities have not allowed anybody to rent right now, and they are not going to be allowed to. So if for nothing else, we just had no place. So then we decided to go virtual, and then we had to find a location. And we actually are going to be using the St. Anthony's facility, which we have used in the past. People know it as Turks.
Mm-hmm.
There was Turks and Lou's. We're going to be using Turks. It's a big covered area at a private facility in Pismo Beach, not far from the vets. And we're going to do a live stream. We're going to bring bands in. We're going to do a live stream from there. And then we will also have gotten some pre-recorded videos for bands that are just, we can't afford, and we can't have people traveling from out of state right now. You know, if they're not driving, we didn't want to fly anybody in, because we really can't have an audience of the extent that we've had in the past. So, you know, 1,300 people, I mean, that's a lot of badges. That helps pay for all that travel, and we can't do that. So we've limited it to local bands that can drive in, and then we've solicited videos, and we've been very successful at getting videos from our usual bands. So what we're hoping to do is a mixture of live performances, pre-recorded performances. Of course, Sunny, you're going to be our master of ceremonies, and we expect some vignettes from you, and then some friend sets. We have some very special friends we're bringing in. And we also have Gary Ryan, who's another local well-known musician, and he's going to do a friend set, and then some of the bands that don't have to travel very far. And we are hoping to bring Tom Rigney in live, but we're not sure yet. We'll know as it gets closer. So we're trying to be really flexible in our programming between live and video, and if the bands can make it, great, and if they can't, we have video. So it's just going to probably be a surprise by the time it happens. We probably won't know until right before it happens.
Right. Well, I think that's about it for the list of questions. Do you have anything you want to say about bands that have appeared over the years? Who would you say are some of the more well-known names?
So bands that are well associated with Pismo that we try to bring back year after year, the Madiri Brothers, Cornet Chop Suey, Tom Rigney, High Sierra. These are all bands that are associated with the Pismo Festival. We have tried also to bring in some younger bands and some more female or different ethnicities and women-run bands. So Last year we had Tuba Skinny, which was kind of a big deal for us to get them, and that was very well received. They were not part of the lineup for 2020, but the fact that we got them was kind of exciting for us. We have a local musician, Molly Reeves. She came out of Morro Bay. She was part of, our local group of young people, and she moved to New Orleans. She has several bands that we brought. And last 2 years we had the Shake 'em Up Jazz Band, which is an all-woman band that is very popular. We had also featured at the other end of the spectrum, Pat Yankee. She had been there every year. Last year was her last year because she just couldn't travel anymore. And we were actually hoping to get a video with her and Bob Schulz, and then she was not able to do that. We tried for that, but she was not able to.
Too bad.
And Night Blooming Jasmine is another band that had been around forever, and then last year was their last year. So we did some things last year that I feel very good about, and one of them was featuring Pat Yankee and Night Blooming Jasmine. And I'm glad we were able to do that because, of course, this year we're not able to bring any of the big bands like that.
Right.
So yeah, those are, and Blue Street is another band that's well known and has been to most of the festivals, and we actually have Dave Ruffner coming in as a guest artist. So you'll be able to see Dave in person on live stream, and then Maddie and Sherry from Blue Street are going to do a video.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Now you had Maria Moldauer a couple of years back.
That was
3.
that was 2015. So that was kind of my brainchild. I had told George that. Well, you see, Maria Moldauer performs locally quite a bit normally, and she does a lot of different kinds of music. And I knew that she knew that style. I knew she knew traditional jazz, and so I approached her about doing our festival. That was the first year I did it, and she agreed to that. And that was a very interesting experience, bringing a big name to the festival, and we learned a lot of things, and she enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it. And I know she'd be happy to come back if we asked her again.
Nice.
And so, yeah, and you never know, we might do that again.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything we haven't covered?
Next year, I think we should talk about.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah, so, this is a kind of a difficult year. We're trying to make it work. Whatever income we get from this festival is really going to get passed to the musicians. We've tried to keep our expenses very low so that if we make whatever money we can over our expenses, we can pass to the musicians. I think in the future, well, we've all learned about live streaming, and that's been a big education for us. And I think for future years, you might see smaller festivals with a live streaming component. I think the festivals that really want to continue are learning about this technology, and I think that there's going to be audience members that are going to benefit from it, that are going to want to do that, who either can't or won't travel in the future. And so I think you're going to see a combination of live and virtual performances in all areas of music and performance, not just jazz. So I think that's good because it allows us to reach a broader audience, and it allows people to feel safer wherever they are. And it allows us to keep having music festivals with and let people feel safe.
Well, right, and for those older folks that have come for many years and then all of a sudden reach a point where they can't travel anymore, they can still be connected and enjoy the festival.
Yes, and I see that people who never thought they would be online have learned how to get online, and so that's really pushed the envelope of what people are willing to do, because that's the only way they can see what they want to see. And so we're going to probably capitalize on that and continue that in the future, for the foreseeable future.
Right. Very good.
Okay, well,
I guess that wraps it up, huh?
Yeah, well, it was really good for you to come over and talk. And I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you at our festival.
Well, thank you, and thanks for everything you do, Rhonda.
You're most welcome.